Right then, but it's my turn now, isn't it?
Indeed. I'm looking forward to this.
I wouldn't look forward to it too much.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean. There's a particular reason I covered this story. It's because I actually what day are we now? So it's Thursday now. Yeah, Thursday now.
It's Monday. It's Monday.
It's Monday now. It's Monday now. So last Monday and Tuesday, I believe it was, there was a 2-part drama special on ITV called Honor, and I watched it. Did you watch it?
I did not. My mum has told me about
okay,
it.
good. Weird. So this is based on that because I watched it, read into it, found out how much was real, how much of it was legit. So this is the story of the honor killing of Banaz Mahmod. And it's surprisingly not covered very much on YouTube. There's not that much about it at all.
This is what I found strange. My mum was talking to me about it, and it's something I've never heard about before, but sounds like something I'd watch, and she'd watched it.
Yeah.
So,
and it's quite recent as well, and it's all it's also involves Birmingham and South London, so you know our area.
Cool.
So let's begin then. The family lived in the same area of South London as. Oh, sorry, I've gone. I don't know why I skipped the paragraph then. Start again. The Mahmoods were a strictly traditional Kurdish family from Kdr in Iraqi Kurdistan. Mahmod, a name so nice you said it twice, and his wife Baya had 6 children and sought asylum in the UK in 1995 when Banaz Mahmod was 10. The family lived in the same area of South London as Mahmod's 4 brothers, including Banaz's uncle, Ari Mahmod, who was Mahmod's younger brother, but was considered the head of the Mahmod family. You're going to hear Mahmod a lot in this.
That hurt, that did.
In 2002, Banaz's older sister, Bekal Mahmod, who was 2 years older than Banaz, fled the family home after she said she was being abused by her family and forced into a marriage she didn't want to take part in, so she left.
Yep, fair.
She spent some time in foster care and eventually lived in hiding, never leaving her house without wearing a full veil, as she later stated to the police that her father had threatened to kill her. So she wasn't, like they're a Muslim family, but she wasn't a practiced Muslim. She pretty much announced the faith for this.
Yeah.
Well, just not a full devout Muslim by the sounds of it. So she wasn't wearing a hijab for religious reasons, just purely to hide her identity from. Mahmod's inability to control his older daughter's actions were viewed as a weakness in the Kurdish community, something he did not in any way want to repeat it again. So that was what happened in the past with Banaz's older sister. But now on to Banaz. At the age of 16, Banaz Mahmod was also forced into an arranged marriage with a man from their homeland of Kdr. Banaz would describe him as being 10 years older, illiterate, and having an old-fashioned mindset akin to someone from, and I quote, 50 years ago, as she put it. She would actually come into contact many times with the police during her marriage, accusing her husband of rape and physical abuse on multiple occasions.
Oh, okay.
And that brings me on to the first video, because we have still, there's not, considering she has quite a few contacts with the police, there's very, I find it really strange. There's only one video of all of the interviews. Like, this is the only video footage of any of the interviews I could find.
Yeah.
Which is strange.
I was just 17 there. And some of the times it was in the living room that he raped me. Or in the bedroom. I was only 17, so I just let him do what he liked. Whenever he raped me, it was like I was his shoe and he would wear it just whenever he felt like it. And because he had kicked me so much, like, in the head, my lips were bleeding, my ears were bleeding. From then, I couldn't remember things so good, like, when he kicked my head in, that really affected me. Like, now I've got a loss of memory, I can't remember things, and most of the times when I'm cleaning my ears, it bleeds.
Yeah,
that's bad. How old is she? Do you know how old she is at that point?
That was 2005, so I believe she would have been around I think it was around 19, actually, looking at the timeline here.
Yeah.
It would have been 1920 because most of it happened during that time. So
yeah, fair.
But the worst part about that is the pleas were ignored by not only the police but her own family as well. She was simply told that leaving her husband by her family. She was told that leaving her husband would bring shame on their family. So obviously, a lot of this is going to cover the archaic traditional views of a lot of religions. Not just this; these are a Muslim family, but it's not just Muslims. A lot of the old, like Christianity, not so much now, but still very prevalent back in the day, even like 50 years ago, and in America too.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously with Muslim Islam faith, it's the oldest religion as well. So there's loads of people. It's such a big religion too. There's loads of people that still look at this in the old archaic manner. That's the thing there, like Catholicism, that's like been adapting. Like, the Pope keeps talking about, like, now he allows women in, he's okay with gay people, stuff like that, it's good. It's cool. But
see, it is developing, but it's still like
there,
isn't it?
There's not been that much like that in regards to the Muslim faith.
Yeah,
that's supposed to be the true word of God. So
yeah,
there's not much, but there's still, because it's so big, there's loads of different sects as well of Muslim, and they do call them just certain tribes as well, which will play into it in a moment too. But carrying on from there then, so they were all ignored. Despite this though, Banaz left her husband and returned to the family home in July 2005 and later divorced him. She managed to get a divorce from him and everything.
Brilliant.
Which surprisingly doesn't seem to be the main reason for what happens next. She would, however, then soon fall in love and start a relationship with a man called Ramet Soleimani. I believe he was an Iranian Kurdish, different tribe. Fearing for her safety, Banaz went to the police stating that her uncle had threatened to kill her and her boyfriend Ramet sometime shortly after the 2nd of December 2005. So this was about 2 months after that video we just saw. On December 12th, she would deliver a letter to the Wimbledon police station which named the people that she believed were trying to kill her and Ramat. Both times, the police ignored it completely, thought she was just chatting on. On New Year's Eve, the police were called to a cafe in Wimbledon where Banaz had appeared in a distressed state. She was drunk, in shock, and had lacerations all over her hand. She says her father forced her to drink alcohol and then tried to strangle her to death, but she managed to escape by smashing a window. There's no footage of that I could find. I feel like there might be somewhere, but there's no footage of that interview from the police. But there is footage of her later on, I believe it is, in the hospital room where she's telling it to her husband, her boyfriend Ramat.
Yeah.
And this is covered by CNN, I believe it is. There's a bit of over. But let's just have a look at this then.
Yeah.
In this cell phone video, the story just pours out of Banaz Mahmod, and so does her panic and fear. As her boyfriend records it all, Banaz lays on a hospital bed, describing what she herself still couldn't believe. It was New Year's Eve 2005 in London, and Banaz's father, an Iraqi Kurd and devout Muslim, told her to grab her suitcase and go with him to her grandmother's. There, she was forced to drink alcohol to prep her for what was to come. She says, I finished the drink, I finished all of it, and then he got up, she says, and left the room. Banaz says when he came back, armed with surgical gloves, she was sure he would try to kill her. She ran from her grandmother's house, smashed a window, hysterical, as she called for help. She ended up in hospital that night, her boyfriend at her side. She told police the whole story. Her family wanted her dead.
Oh, that's dreadful.
Oh,
bad parenting 101.
that's putting it very, very mildly, Aaron.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay, then. So, so after that, then, however, the policewoman that interviewed her did not believe Banaz and described her as manipulative and melodramatic, going so far as to recommend charges of criminal damage for the window she broke during her escape.
Come on.
I know. It's fucking ridiculous.
Stop it.
I think there was some racism involved in this somewhere.
Yeah.
I do think so. On 22nd of January, an attempt at kidnapping Ramat was attempted but failed. Ramat and Banaz reported this to police separately, and Banaz was supposed to return to the police station on the 24th of January. Unfortunately, she never arrived. Yeah.
I kind of know where this one's going.
You can kind of tell she was never seen again, basically. Let's put it that way. I might as well just say it at this point, yeah. How's it feeling so far?
Just feeling sorry for the poor girl. Like, she seemed like such a sweet young girl, just wanting to live a life, and it's just terrible, evil, psycho father.
And the police just failing her too, just ignoring them.
Police just didn't help whatsoever.
She gave a letter saying, like, you know, these guys are trying to kill me.
Did you say it was
naming them?
Was it Wimbledon? Sorry,
Wimbledon was the station she went to. Yeah, it was South London in general, the area.
Got you.
The next day, Banaz Mahmod was officially reported missing by her boyfriend on 25th of January after he was unable to contact her for over a day and a half. However, the police still did not take the initial report seriously. You can see why this was after I watched the drama.
Yeah,
I was thinking this can't all be real, and then finding out how much of it was real, like, oh shit, man.
Yeah,
I had to cover it.
Right, really.
And because this is the issue I have as well with a lot of why I have so many issues with religion, is the archaic views that go behind it. The good part of it are lovely, like the charity sides of it, the empathy sides of it, the just being nice to people and all of that. But then some of it, and especially with like, actually, I say that actually most religions are pretty detrimental to women originally. Some have just been modified more since. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, so the police did not take the initial report seriously. This was due largely to the fact that the parents, Mahmod and Bayem Mahmod, portrayed themselves as an easy-going, tolerant family. They also reportedly pointed out that it was normal for Banaz to stay out overnight and insisted that she was not a missing person. And the police, they made a point of this. They said, you know, okay, they always do stuff for the family. So this was the family telling them, no, it's cool, chill.
Yeah.
So, and they bought it. You know, her boyfriend, Ramat, though, however, refused to take this and effectively harassed the police until they were forced to take it seriously. Until they're forced to start doing something at least anyway.
No, I was going to say, you know, he's very determined to find out what happened to his, you know, young girlfriend, and
as he should be. Due to this ongoing pressure from Ramat, the police took in Banaz's parents and uncle for interviews and searched their homes. During the process, various inconsistencies were discovered in their statements when compared to their original counts. So red flags were popping up at this point. They were also subjected to phone record checks, which apparently proved Banaz's father, Mahmod, to not be the understanding and free-thinking father he made himself out to be. They make this point a lot in the documentary and in the program and another things I've read. But they don't really explain how. It seems like just some of the texts they found were him moaning about stuff, but you know, So this, along with the information and the names that Banaz had provided during her previous meetings with the police, enabled them to compile a persons of interest list. But following this, the investigation was taken over by the Metropolitan Police Homicide and Serious Crime Command, which was led by Detective Chief Inspector Caroline Good, who is the main woman in the actual document in the ITV series. They make out like they were on it the whole time, but they didn't actually get into the real life investigation until this point where it was taken over. So obviously at this point, all guns blazing, you know.
Definitely. And why not?
She took it. She was quite new to the job, like the leader one, and she very much took it to heart. That Caroline Good did.
Yeah, we need someone like that in all cases, though.
Yeah, that's when it actually, you know, stuff gets done normally.
Yeah, definitely.
So she was originally working on the assumption that Banaz was being held against her will was still alive. A search was conducted comprising of simultaneous raids being carried out all across the country, looking in any properties even slightly connected to the family or friend of the family, anything. But there was no sign of Banaz. They decided to call it at this point. It had now turned into a murder investigation officially.
I knew it was going to go down that way as soon as you were like, the dad had like attacked her, and I was like, this is not going to go well.
But following this, the decision was made to arrest Banaz's father and uncle, among various other suspects. All of the suspects were uncooperative with the police from here on out during the rest of their inquiries. Well, not only were the suspects uncooperative, but as was the wider Kurdish community, who repeatedly attempted to thwart the investigation and protect those that are implicated.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because it goes with the like with that whole. There's a huge community, and loads of them do unfortunately think in a very archaic way. Obviously, that's changing the more and more generations away from that, and just social evolution, I guess, would be the good way to put it.
Yeah.
One of the suspects in question was a cousin of Bazam, Mohammed Marid Hamar. Mohammed Hamar was charged with the murder of Banaz Mahmod on the 4th of February 2006. This was able to be done as Ramat, Banaz's boyfriend, was able to positively identify him as one of the men who attempted to kidnap him and at the same time threatened his and Banaz's life just days before she disappeared.
Well done, boyfriend. So is this guy that's been arrested?
Yeah.
In charge. Is he a cousin? That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So is he the son? Would it be the son of the dad's brother, or would it be like another cousin somewhere?
No, I don't believe so, because he had like 4 brothers. So I think this is just a son of one of the brothers not included in the story. Because obviously we say charge, it's not like he was in trial straight away. He was just in custody then, and that turned out to be the best move they could have made. Because while in custody, a request was put in to record and monitor all of Mohammed Hamar's calls. Apparently, his lawyer, who he hated because she was female, told him this might happen and to be careful about what he says on the phone, but she was a woman. He wouldn't listen to her. What does she know? Wow.
She knew a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, she knew a lot.
Because during various calls that he made, he would be recorded bragging about his role and the role of others in the murder of Banaz Mahmod and the details behind the disposal of the body. He directly implicated Banaz's uncle, Ari Mahmod, and her cousins, Mohammed Saleh Ali, Omar Hussein, and Dana Amin.
Wow, there was a lot of people involved, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, Omar Hussein and Mohammed Ali had fled to Iraq during this time. These recordings, along with the phone and car tracking records, eventually led to Banaz's remains to be found in a garden in Handsworth, Birmingham.
No.
Yep. So they brought all the way down to Arends.
Wow. Oh, poor girl, man. In Handsworth of all places. And
yeah, because that's the important part here. What part of the country was she buried in after being murdered?
Yeah. Sorry. That was really insensitive of me. But why Birmingham? Was there any connection to here, or?
It seems like it was something to do with a connection of someone's house. It was one of the houses when they were going all around the country. They did go to this house. They checked the property. They saw the fridge on top of, in the back garden. They saw the fridge, which is what made them think of it later, because he described the fridge being placed on top of it.
Right. Okay.
That's how they put 2 and 2 and got to that. Buried over 6 feet down was a suitcase that held the remains of Banaz Mahmod, discovered 28th of April 2006, 3 months after she disappeared. On May the 1st, 2006, her uncle, Ari Mahmod, was charged with murder. Her father, Mahmud Mahmod, would also be charged in August later that year. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much as far as it goes in regards to, before getting into the truth of what happened anyway.
Yeah.
So it was discovered that on the 2nd of December 2005, a meeting was held at the home of Banaz's uncle Ari Mahmod, where it was agreed by her cousins, her uncle, and her father that both should be killed for bringing shame onto the family and the community. So both would be, Ramat and Banaz. Due to the fact of the divorce and the resulting new relationship with someone belonging to a different Kurdish tribe.
And that's all it's over. Like, it's something so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's your daughter. Like, come on.
You care more about the honour and how your family is perceived, apparently.
Yeah.
Because they, they make the point a lot that this, in their country, as they say, would make them regarded as, they'd be doing a good thing. They'd be seen as, this was the right thing to do. Obviously, in the more archaic parts, but which is just messed up, which is just come from the religious side of it, which, like I said, man, it's hard for me not to bitch about religion when I read stuff like this. This is where it all comes one for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because it's just basically brain control, man, to a point.
Oh,
Mind control, sorry.
That point is with I mean, all power to people who want to have faith and respect for religion. It's entirely up to them. But when they take things to the extreme like this, just because it's a different type of, I don't know, the cultures are very different, and wasn't going to be accepted. You don't go out killing your daughter for that, do you? Oh, I wouldn't.
Well, no. Funny enough, we're normal people.
I mean, I suppose it would be the same though if the daughter turned out to be gay. That would have been the same situation, unfortunately.
And if you got with like a woman and made a point of it as well, it's shame and all that. It's the honor of the family. It's just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, so absolutely.
It's a weird, it shows a different level of thinking in different parts of the world and stuff.
Yeah,
but like you said, not all religious people at all think like this. A lot of religious, all the religious people I've met, like the majority of them, have been the most lovely people ever.
Yeah.
Although they are all technically selfish, there is no such thing as a religious person doing a unselfish good deed, because everything they do is to get them into heaven. So nothing is unselfish.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers. Anyway, Ramat testified that against the Mahmoods, despite the threats from the Kurdish community, and was even taken into the witness protection program before the trial. He was taken in and after. Banaz's sister also testified in court against her family, but hid her face behind a screen in court in fear of retaliation by the Kurdish community. So she wore a hijab there as well to cover her up. And then once she got on thingy, she lifted the veil up. I guess also making the point, I'm not wearing this for religious reasons. I'm doing this because I'm trying to protect my identity.
I've just got visions of Vince McMahon in my mind right now.
The higher power.
Yeah. It was me, Mahmood. It was me, Mahmood. It was me, Mahmood. It was me all along.
I can't wait for the stuff to come out about Vince McMahon after he dies.
Yeah.
That's when it all comes out, It's
racist, homophobic, sexist, anything, Nazi.
I mean, we know a lot of stuff. We know he's very abusive. It's probably the best way.
Yeah.
But there's more stuff, like, we know little bits about the Snooker murder that he covered up.
Oh, and Scott Hall as well.
Yeah, he killed someone, didn't he?
Yep. And he still allows him into his company and
when he was younger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This is vicious. Tried to kill Arn Anderson, I think it was, a few times.
Really? I've never heard that. Never heard that.
They had a fight, and he went back up the one time with scissors or something.
No, I've never heard that.
Arn wrestled him away from him and stabbed him up a few times. And then I believe that was one of the times. Actually, I think it was WCW, because then I think Sid left WCW after that.
Yeah, I think there would have been WCW. Arn Anderson would have been in WCW when Sid was there. So yeah, definitely.
Anyway, I keep forgetting to get into this. Okay. So they also testified. So Banaz's father, uncle, and Mohammed Hamar, the one in custody originally, were all found guilty of murder, among other lesser charges. The father, Mahmood, was sentenced to life with a minimum of 20 years. Uncle Ari was life with a minimum of 23 years. Mohammed Hamar was life with a minimum of 17 years. Her cousin, Dana Amin, the one we mentioned, was given 8 years for lesser charges, including perverting the court of law and preventing the victim's lawful burial, because from what I gathered, the main thing he did was he supplied the car and transported her to Birmingham.
Right. Got you.
Probably helped to bury her too. Both her cousins who were involved, Mohammed Salih Ali and Omar Hussein, had fled to Iraqi Kurdistan after the murder, like we said. In October 2007, Scotland Yard were notified that Mohammed Ali was in custody in somewhere where he killed a teenage boy.
You did so well up until that point, it just made me laugh. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I know. Sulaimania, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
He'd killed a teenage boy in a hit and run incident, so he'd killed another guy now.
Oh, okay.
Shockingly, he was extradited in June 2009 in what was the first ever extradition from Iraq to the United Kingdom, a move described by DCI Good as making legal history. He was also found guilty of the murder of Banaz Mahmod, and sentenced to life with a minimum of 22 years. So they got him from Iraq, man. That's crazy. Never happened before.
Yeah.
But more, yes. Hussein, the other one in Iraq, had been hiding out in a remote area of Iraq, shielded by his brothers, one of whom was Peshmerga, and the other a member of the Asayish security services. Yeah, that was right. That one. During a dispute with one of his brothers in December 2009, he was actually shot in the leg and was duly arrested when he presented himself at the hospital, because by this point they were already aware of him because of the last one.
Yeah.
But he insisted that he wasn't actually in the United Kingdom at the time that Banaz was murdered, and it was a case of mistaken identity.
Okay.
However, UK welfare benefit records and photographic evidence from a previous arrest proved otherwise, and he was also extradited in March 2010.
Oh.
He would also be found guilty of Banaz's murder and sentenced to life with a minimum of 21 years.
Random
cool.
number.
I don't know how they come up with these. Like the 17,
Yeah.
that one didn't actually kill her, but the other one was like,
yeah, and then the other one got 20 as well. Then was it the dad or
the dad got 22. The one who got the most was Uncle Ari with 23.
Yeah, 23. That's it. Like I hate odd numbers, man. That's not good for me.
I like odd number. 23 is my number too.
Is it?
Okay. Born on the 23rd of March, man.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, a little bit left on the end of this.
Just
a little side bit. So Banaz's boyfriend Ramat actually struggled to adjust to his new life and the isolated nature of the witness protection program, and seemingly never recovered from the loss of Banaz, as he actually took his own life in 2016.
Oh man, that sucks.
But referring to him as one of the two real heroes in the case, DCI Caroline Good said, without him, we wouldn't have even known that Banaz was even missing. He risked his life to go up against his whole community, and in doing so, he gave up everything and everyone he knew. So, as a nice little quote there, just making the point that he basically gave up his life to make sure that Banaz.
Yeah, I mean, they could have come for him like at any time as well, couldn't they? You know,
they'd already tried to.
Yeah, so you know they already took his girlfriend. They tried with him. They could have come back at any point. They seemed powerful enough and had enough force behind them. And
the community, the whole community, just not the whole community. Obviously, you assume it wouldn't be the whole community, but a lot of the elder males, especially, and then the male side of the community, do think like that.
Yeah,
but obviously, it changes more. Hopefully, it's evolving. People that I know that are Muslim don't think like that.
Yeah,
younger people. So hopefully, that's changing.
And was he still in the UK at this point as well? Sorry.
Yeah, he stayed in the UK.
Yeah.
Banaz was laid to rest at Merton and Sutton Joint Cemetery, Morden. Her family left her grave unmarked. There was actually a messed up story about the funeral in general. I'm not going to get into it now because it's a bit weird. But on the 26th of June 2007, a memorial service was held for Banaz at Morden Assembly Hall, following which a granite memorial headstone was placed at the gravesite. Her family did not attend either services. The purchase of the gravestone was arranged by the Iranian and Kurdish women's rights organization, police officers, and even the lead prosecutor, Nazir Afzal, who was among the people that contributed. So she's got a nice gravestone now. It's how they end the drama. So it's a nice little ending, I think, to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice little bow on the top.
Yeah.
But that's the honor killing, or the so-called honor killing.
Yeah. I like the title of it now. It makes so much more sense. My mum did explain a little bit to me, but I always tell her not to explain stuff too much because she goes into it and then like she gives away the endings and stuff. I'm just like, no, stop. Let me find out for myself.
I mean, I would still recommend watching it because it's a good watch. And like the woman that has to play Banaz looks quite like some of the people that play the dad and stuff look so much like her. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, we know the actual person. They've done a really good job with the casting.
No, that's brilliant. Regardless of you talking to me this, I was going to watch it anyway. So it's piqued my interest even more now. So thank you.